Hi guys, it's Cindy. Today I'm going to be showing you my no foundation everyday makeup routine. If you haven't already, subscribe for more content like this and follow me on Instagram at cindy.lychee. With all that said, let's begin. I'm starting off the look with Missha's All Around Safe Block Essence Sunscreen. This one has SPF 45 and I am in love with the sunscreen. It's so good and it doesn't leave me super greasy and gives me the perfect amount of dewiness. Before I put on the sunscreen, I already layered on all of my moisturizer and skincare from this morning. And once that's all patted in, I am going to skip the foundation today and use concealer. So the concealer that I'm using is the Tarte Shape Tape concealer and I'm in the shade Fair. So taking the tiniest amount of product on my ring finger, I am just lightly tapping that in underneath my eyes to get rid of my dark eye circles. This concealer is super high coverage, so a little goes a long way. So be careful not to use way too much and have it look cakey. And just really quick, I wanted to mention that I won't be using any lipstick today since I am planning on wearing a mask. So all I have on is lip balm. So now I'm grabbing a brush in order to give myself a little bit more coverage on some of my acne scars from pimples that I really shouldn't have popped. So I'm just dabbing a little bit more product into the areas that need a little more coverage, and then also covering up the redness around my nose and some other red spots. And once the concealer has dried a little, I am gently tapping that in with my ring finger again for that skin-like finish. And then switching back to the brush for the hyperpigmentation on my forehead, I am lightly tapping around to have the best coverage in order to cover the dark spots completely and make it the most natural and seamless as I can. I'm not trying to cover up every single dark spot or sunspot that's on my face because I want this to look super natural and to have my natural skin still show through. Next, I'm using the Rare Beauty blush in the shade Bliss, and I am just dabbing a little dot on each of my cheekbones and then a tiny bit on the bridge of my nose. This too also a little goes a long way, and I am lightly blending that out with my ring finger again, just blending it all the way up to my temple to give myself more of a lifted look. Another reason why I'm keeping my blush rather high and close to right underneath my eyes is because I want this to be able to show through even if I am wearing a face mask. And just that extra touch of blush across the bridge of the nose gives off such a cute effect. Any leftover product that I have on my finger, I just brush it on the tip of my nose. And once we're done with all our cream products, we're gonna set it all in place with the Mercier translucent setting powder and the matching puff. So I am patting that into the places where I put my concealer and where I am most likely to crease, so that is underneath my eyes, on my forehead and T-zone where I get the shiniest, and then also my chin and the bridge of my nose where I get the most transferring onto my mask. And then after that, I am going to bronze up my face with the Fenty Beauty Stalk'r bronzer in the shade Inda Sun. So I'm just dusting that right underneath, kind of on top honestly, of my blush to give myself a bit of contouring and a bit of warmth back into my face. And then I'm also just blending that over onto the top of my forehead because I have a big head and I am trying to make it look a little bit smaller, and then also shaping that jaw and hopefully hiding my double chin slightly with this color a bit. And then finally, switching over to a smaller, fluffier brush, I am dusting that color a little bit just over my eyelids, mostly focusing it on my crease. And then taking a little bit more and smoking out the bottom lash line just for a little bit of balance. This is the most natural eye look that just works well with any everyday makeup. And then finally, with the bronzer, again, I am taking this into the hollows of my eyes and blending it down my nose to give myself that cute little button nose effect as much as I can. So after bronzer, I am taking out my highlighter, which is the Fenty Beauty Killawatt highlighter in the shade Hustla Baby. And I am doubling this as eyeshadow and putting it just in the center of my lids, and then also in the inner corners of my eyes and a little bit along my tear duct area. And then I'm repeating this on the other side for that subtle shine. And then also down the bridge of my nose and the tip of my nose for more of a button nose effect again. Next, we're moving on to brows, and I will be using this Innisfree brow pencil and the Glossier Boy Brow in the shade Black. So I am first just combing through my brow hairs to make sure they are all in place, and then starting from the end, I am filling in my brows and lifting the tail slightly up to also add on into that lifted look. And I am filling it in and slowly moving my way to the front. And then same thing on the other side, focusing mostly on making the tail of my brow darker, and then working the product into the front after. Then I am using the spoolie to just blend everything out and make sure that there are no harsh lines or streaks in my brow. To finish off my brows, I am just working the boy brow through and focusing it on the front of my brow to fluff it up. Next comes my favorite part of the entire look, which is the winged eyeliner, and I am using Tarte's Maneater liquid eyeliner, and this one has a brush tip. So how I like to do my eyeliner is I start from the outer corner of my eye and draw a little guide of where I would like my wing to go, and then I fill it in from the middle of my lash line across to the tip, and then just coloring in that tiny little triangle. And then I go back in, starting from the middle and working my way towards the inner corner. And I try to hug the lash line as closely as possible, just making the line as thinly as I can because I don't have a lot of lid space, so I gotta save it where I can. And speaking of my eye shape, I actually have hooded eyes, but they are uneven. So on my left side, I have slightly more lid space there, so I draw my eyeliner a little bit thicker. And then on the right side, which I am working on right now, I try to keep it just slightly thinner, and that way when both sides are done, they look more even. If you guys want a more in-depth tutorial on how I do my eyeliner on my hooded eyes, let me know, and I can definitely make a video like that in the future. And once I'm finished up with the eyeliner, in order to really make the eyes pop, I'm going to be curling my lashes and putting on some mascara. So I'm using the Shiseido lash curler and the Lash Paradise from L'Oreal. So what I like to do is I like to have my mascara handy so that as soon as I'm done curling the lashes on one eye, I immediately coat them in my mascara. And what this does is it keeps my lashes curled and perky and lifted all day. And honestly, this mascara, the Lash Paradise, is actually a drugstore mascara, and I think that it beats out all the other bougier brands that you might see at Sephora. Once I switched to this mascara, I have turned all my other friends onto it, and I have not looked back since. Also, side note on this lash curler, it is really good for Asian eyes because the curve of it is not as curved as a lot of the other lash curlers out there, and so it hugs my eyes perfectly. How I put on mascara is I wiggle most of the product at the base of my eyelashes, and then I just brush it through the tips in order to give the most volume and the most length at the same time. And whatever's left on my brush, I just wiggle it through my lower lashes. And the last thing to tie everything together, I'll be using the Tarteist Double Take Eyeliner in the color brown, and I'm gonna use the pencil side of it in order to line my waterline. So I'm just looking up and tight lining my eyes. Also, I had no idea how creepy I looked while I was doing this, but ignore that. And that completes the look. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not tired of me yet, follow me on Insta at cindy.lychee. But until then, till next time.